Hey there, how's it going? All right, how about that last season of Black Mirror? It was really cool. Oh my gosh, I have so much to say. So today we're doing spoilers left and right, galore, up and down. If you want a spoiler-free review of the season, episode by episode, I'm going to have to send you over to Dave and Olive's channel, Book Blather. I'll link the video down below. He did a really good job of explaining what worked and didn't, but I'm not correct here. I'm not doing spoiler free. We got to get into the nitty gritty. Grab a coffee or your beverage of choice. So I wrote in order of which is my most favorite to least favorite. I'm actually going to start with my least favorite. So when I was listing out the episodes and what I thought of them, I realized there are two that I really loved, two that were close to being really loved. They were really, really good. And then there were only two that I thought were kind of meh. That being said, they were overall good episodes. So my two least favorite that are kind of tied for last place are Eulogy and Hotel Reverie. So Hotel Reverie, I actually liked it a little bit less. I think the one thing that bothered me about both of those episodes are something that I actually find is a bit, of a common theme for all Black Mirror episodes is just the people are portrayed as putting their trust in technology so quickly. Like, there is a huge part of companies just not saying things, but then there's a part of people who are going to partake in a certain new technology or whatever, and they don't even ask any questions. Like, they go in and it's like, so for example, the actress who's going to play the lead in Hotel Reverie, she just kind of goes for the audition. She doesn't who sends what company sends a package with a completely new technology to someone, and the one source of information you would have about such a focal point of your movie is one flash drive, and then the agent doesn't even the agent doesn't really seem to know anything that's going on, or he doesn't care. He seems to be kind of careless, which, sure, fine. But then the lady who's at the forefront of this new technology, I forget her name, but she doesn't even call the actress before to say, hey, you're going to be doing... First of all, forget technology. Just the fact that it's going to be a one-shot, like a play, instead of multiple scenes played, play, scene, cut, etc. Those are two different things. So... technology aside, I'm surprised that the actress wouldn't even know it's going to be filmed like a play and you have to do all scenes in one go. Secondly, you have this, first of all, I would imagine this kind of technology, you'd have to sign some kind of paperwork if it's a life or death situation. That's so weird. I'm going to have to reiterate what Dave said in his video, which is this whole... using a black female lead as a lead character in lieu of a white straight guy in an older movie was a fun thing. And like Dave, I thought the plot, or one of the plot lines of the movie, would turn out differently and be more about social norms and kind of breaking codes that old movies set for storylines, I guess. It didn't bother me so much that it wasn't a center point of the episode, but I thought it might have been a, adjacent plot line, I suppose. I do think it was weird how they brought the main character, I forget what her name is, the girl, I don't know, whatever. The female lead in the movie, or the girlfriend, whatever. I thought it was so bizarre how they randomly had her kind of step into some other void of the internet and then just remember who she is as a human and not a character. And then that plot line, same, it just disappeared into nothing, almost. I don't know, they really could have done something with that. Hotel Reverie, to me, was just like a lot of almost Easter eggs of different plot lines or different ways the episode could have gone, and then the episode went somewhere stupid. I'm sorry, but I did not like the way it went at all. And same with the guy in Eulogy. He just gets a phone call. To be honest, at the beginning of Eulogy, I thought, so as the episode progressed, I thought it was going to be some type of scam where the guy just randomly believed the phone call, but it's really just Chip's like getting people's information. Because the girl in the chip, like the guy's ex-girlfriend's daughter, she was really pushy. So I was like, ooh, she's gonna get passwords, she's gonna get access to his brain, everything. And then I don't know, I was kind of disappointed that it didn't turn out to be that, which would have made more sense.
Hi, okay, so I'm editing this and I can finally put into words something that's been bothering me. And this is something that writers of the show should have foreseen. It really wigs me out how a lot of techie episodes or techie shows like that, the person who is presenting the new technology is like, oh, the easiest thing for me is to just show you and then wham, they zap you in or something. I'm sorry, if you can't even explain your product in simple words, why should we trust you? Like, I'm thinking of this hotel reverie thing. The girl could have been like, hey, so, hi, I have this new technology and we're going to zap you into our TV and you're going to act out the whole movie in one shot and you're going to be in a coma-like state until you say the final line. No, she's just like, oh, hi, oh man, I'm so happy to meet you. What's gonna happen? Oh, let me just, boop, like, what? That's so weird. That was, no,
I don't know, it was too much of a, what's it called? Like, when something's like a plot cheat or whatever, like, I forget what it's called. A plot convenience. There we go. There were too many plot conveniences in both of those episodes for me. I did appreciate that Black Mirror did something different with Eulogy, where it wasn't some type of we're all going to shit at the end. It was very much like almost, I don't want to say feel good, but almost, where it's like a very nostalgic, reminiscent kind of moment when you get to the end. And it does kind of make you feel like, oh, wow, I really should pay attention to things around me for, so that in 50 years I could tell my stories, I actually do think it was cool the way they reconstructed memories through do you remember the music? Do you remember the scents? And kind of this multi-sensory experience. As I'm talking about it, I realized these aren't tied. Hotel Reverie is my least favorite, and Eulogy is going to be my second least favorite. Okay, next up we have Bête Noire and Common People tied at 3 and 4, I guess. These two have the least to say about, mostly because they were kind of average episodes to me. Average plus, because like I said, I like the season overall. Common People had the same problem to me that Eulogy and Hotel Reverie had, where granted there's a lot on the company of them, having shady practices and not being transparent with the client about, or the customers about, what their product actually is. But then the cuts, and I don't mean this in a victim blamey way, but the guy is approached by a stranger. First of all, I'm not trusting anyone in a suit about medical procedures. Like, sorry to surgeons who wear suits, but like if I'm at a hospital and some sales rep approaches me, I'm like, either you're selling a pen or not talking to me at all. Like, you're not doing this right now, okay, right? Do you know what I mean? Like, there's certain information has to come from certain people. And so anyway, and then the guy is like, what does this thing do? What does this thing do? And then he's like, how much does it cost? And then he's basically like, okay, sure. But there's no, how does this work? Like, who are you? Just, you know what I mean? There's at some point when you're transplanting a piece of brain into your loved one or anything, like, you got to ask more a question than just what is this and how much does it cost, right? Surely, am I the only one seeing this? Like, it just feels like these characters, and this is something that's not just, that's kind of across the board in Black Mirror, is that a lot of times I feel people go into new things kind of blindly, unnecessarily blindly. I do think Common People was very reminiscent to me of the whole pandemic season, where everyone was on lockdown and everyone had to turn to the internet for either entertainment or their livelihood. But that's kind of the year I was thinking about while watching that episode. And, certainly it's continued since. But so then Bête Noire, this was a overall well-rounded episode. I think that it came out at a really good time with this whole mass AI, mass disinformation period in our time. And yeah, it was a pretty good commentary. There's nothing that really stands out to me with this episode, maybe other than the end, which felt kind of goofy to me, where she kills her, old schoolmate, and then she's like, okay, now I control the cops. And honestly, if I had been in that situation, I think I just would have said, this never happened, click, and then the house is empty or something like that. Do you know what I mean? But she's just like, you work for me, you're my droids, and then, or whatever. And then they start acting like C-3PO, and then she's like, I'm the queen of the universe. That was unnecessarily goofy to me in the end. And it kind of ruined the episode, to be honest, but anyway. So that was that. And then my two, okay, I don't know. Yes, I do have a favorite. So my favorite was Plaything. This was so good. Some dork on LSD ruins humanity. That was really funny. Okay, Plaything commented on something that, quite frankly, I have kind of foreseen for a while. So you know how foreseen, I don't know, that was not the right use of words, but whatever. Hold on, bear with me here. Since QR codes were invented, to be honest, right, you see them everywhere now on ads, like in the street, and people are like, scan this QR code to get a restaurant's menu, and like, scan this QR code for a discount on your next order, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you could be scanning anything. Like, just because something is on an ad or has a company's name on it doesn't mean that, like, how do you know what you're scanning? You know what I mean? So I was really happy when some type of media finally caught it. And I do think the QR code that the guy draws is pretty cool, like a circle. Like, it was like a crop circle QR code, you know? I guess the one thing I could say about Plaything is you do get kind of blue-balled, right? Like, the main character, the creator of the game just pops in and out, and he's like, I created a game. My company is stupid. They don't know it's actually not a game. I gotta go. And leaves like there's some pizza party in the other office room. And then this guy like fosters another humanity, and then everyone gets zapped, and then you're like, well, what happens next? Like, is everyone a zombie? Does everyone just pass out, and then the LSD guy is just doing his thing for the rest of until he dies or something because he's the creator? What happens? I really think, maybe Black Mirror will do like USS Callister and do a callback episode in the future. I really need, because, oh my gosh, this is the one time I am mad that these are standalone episodes. And then, so my second favorite, USS Callister. This, I'm going to have to thank Dave again for this one, because he mentioned that this episode, unlike every single other Black Mirror episode, actually did have a first part, quote unquote. Season 4, I think he said episode 1 or something like that, where you have the beginnings of this game being created. I didn't know that, and quite frankly, I don't remember the episode. But it is cool that there is some type of tie-in, and I do think it's interesting because it seems from what he said that the original episode was more so rooted in reality than this one, even though this USS Callister episode had both. I thought it was really fun to have a Star Trek readaptation, or like heavy Star Trek influence with a little bit of Castaway in there. I do like it when you have humor in dystopia, or something to break the heaviness of the mood. Do you know what I mean? Because if sometimes when things are just too negative and too down and everything, it kind of breaks the illusion. And I did appreciate that, though it was a callback to another episode, you don't need to have seen it to understand this one, right? So maybe it was in here, subconsciously, but like I said, I can't remember the other ones. So those are my thoughts for season 7. I'm sure I'll have other ones, as I always do after I film and post a video. But yeah, I'm really curious. Let me know which was your favorite episode below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.